Hamas at the moment playing mind games with the families of the hostages. Joining us now on the line, we welcome Kinneret Hamburger, who's a former IDF captain and also LLB Government and Strategy MA student. Kinneret, good afternoon, good evening to you, and thanks for joining us on the Afternoon Overdrive.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
No, great to have you on board, Kinneret. So on the basis of this article, just reading the headline, Hamas is sending threatening calls, messages to hostage relatives from loved ones' phones. Kinneret, the question begs, are Israelis prepared for this? How are they being assisted? How are they being positioned to brace for this kind of psychological warfare that's been waged on them right now?
Look, we've been fighting as a society and as a state, we've been fighting these terror organizations, unfortunately, for years already. And I think that it's important to understand that the wars that we are fighting for a while now, they're not just the classic wars that we used to fight in the past.
Of course not.
Talking, on a worldwide level. But there's a lot of psychological warfare in today's, in modern wars. But all the psychological warfare that they're attacking and then targeting these people themselves, it just shows that it's part of a much larger war that's been going on and a much larger situation. I mean, it's not just Hamas directly doing it, but they're getting help also from Iran that's guiding them into doing this thing. And Iran is also using their proxies, not just on the tactical level on the ground with fire, but also on the psychological level.
Indeed.
And attacking and having campaigns, not just in Israel regarding the hostages, but in the whole world. I mean, I think anyone walking around the United States and different universities, if they're careful enough and they look between and they read between the lines, then they could definitely see the intervention of foreign interests in the area. And this is all part of the Iranian regime and what they're going for when they understand that today social media is a huge part of all of our lives, and that we're influenced by the media and we're influenced by what we see on the news and on our phones and around Facebook. And so they're targeting each and every one of us in different ways in order for them to receive their goal, which is, to eliminate Israel, to eliminate our allies, take us apart from our strongest allies, the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Jordan as well, lots of other countries and, Arab countries that we've been working closely with to keep peace in the region. And they're attacking everyone on several different levels. And the psychological warfare is a huge part of this war. And it's important to understand that it always has been, but we haven't always been aware of it. Just the civilians in this world.
Indeed.
And this includes, I think this example of Hamas targeting the families of the hostages, I think it's just the perfect example for how they always attack the civilians themselves. They hardly ever go for the government or government symbols, but they go straight to the maybe most weak part of society and the civilians themselves. And they don't fight, a justice war.
And, just falling back on what you just said, Iran and its proxies and using Hamas in this psychological war against Israel, it's becoming very desperate in terms of the latest threat being to threaten the families of the hostage if they don't, influence or get rid of the government. It's really getting desperate, it seems, for them at this point in time.
For sure. I mean, I think it just shows the cruelty of this Iranian regime and of Hamas and all these terror organizations, that obviously their interest isn't some national interest or they're there for their people. They're not protecting their people. They're just here against Jews, against Israelis, against the people of the free world.